Then I say welcome to another live session here in the Facebook group Aktier. As you noticed today, I speak English, which is, well, the reason for that is that we have an English-speaking guest today, and that is Derek Simmross from ODI Pharma. Welcome to the show, Derek, to start with.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, my camera just adjusted. I also speak Swedish, but
Okay.
my friends have told me that I sound more interesting in English, and so
Okay,
great.
but we have a very exciting topic today, which is well, medical cannabis and your newly launched skincare product line within that space, which is very exciting, I think. But to start with, could you just tell me a bit about your background and the background of the company as such?
Okay. Well, I live in Täby, just north of Stockholm, and I've been based here since for 20. I've had a home here since the last 25 years. I spent between 2007 and 2014-15 between Moscow and Switzerland, and came back here full time as a resident. And I'm not from Sweden. Hearing from my voice, I grew up in California. I was born and raised there. After university, I moved to New York, and I started a career in finance, which took me from trading on the exchange to working for Swedish banks for 10 years. And then I moved to the hedge fund buy side, then private equity for the last 10 years of my career. In summary, over that period of time, I focused mainly on trading and investment and portfolio management, and trying to find out, good risk reward strategies and good investment scenarios. And I spent a lot of time trying to study companies and how they work and how they develop. In 2011, I moved, as I said, I was in Switzerland, where I met Volker, the founding partner of the company. We had a lot in common. He also was a specialist in finding good investment alternatives, mainly in real estate. And we immediately hit it off. We had a lot in common, and we followed also. We discussed the cannabis industry, how it was evolving. And then when it started to come to Europe in 2015-16, we decided to jump in. And that's the foundation to how ODI was created, is two like-minded individuals with very compatible skill sets, and we've created what we have here today in ODI Pharma.
And if you were to explain what you have here today, what is it? I mean, is it a distribution network? Is it a product range? What is it?
Well, I'd like to define ODI as a medical or a pharmaceutical company with a focus on cannabis and a focus on bringing the benefits of the cannabis plant and cannabinoids to people to help to give them benefit. We are 100% focused on the European market. We'll see how the world changes over time, but we feel that there's 740 million people in Europe, that there's quite a bit of room, as it's not well established in the U.S. and Canada. It's evolving as it is, but it's a new industry in the European market.
And I know that you have a special focus on Poland. What is the reason behind that?
Well, if you look through the evolution of when medical cannabis legalized in Europe, this isn't very many years back. There was a lot of focus from a lot of companies on the German market, a lot of money spent. And we also spent a lot of time and energy, and that's how we built a lot of our relationships that we have today, as we were looking for Canadian partners and potentially US partners, which was a challenge at the time, to be involved in the evolution of the European market. And so we made a lot of nice contacts, and that's where we got the on-the-ground education that we have. But when we studied the legal framework in each of the countries, we found that Poland had the best legal infrastructure for doctors to prescribe medical cannabis to patients. It's very regulated in some countries versus others, and Poland had the most liberalized policies in their legal framework. And so we also liked the fact that Poland was import only. and we felt that it gave us a little comparative advantage with our business model to not focus on the cultivation, but the partnerships and the regulations and the infrastructure. So Poland was a natural step for us.
Mm. And where can your products be prescribed today outside of Poland?
Okay, Poland is, we are actually in the process of the MAH application, which we submitted in February for our first product on the medical side, which is flour. You know, we're working diligently. We've learned a lot from the experiences, the negative experiences that some of the others have had. It's you know, we're still quite young. I mean, we're young, we're unique, and the industry is quite young, and we're well positioned for the Polish market for the medical. We're also focusing on what new products we're going to bring in after the flour. So we're looking at, we're narrowing down the topic of which type of oils, gel caps, tinctures, what is the best secondary products that we're going to bring to the market.
Mm. And if you were to give like the big picture on the potential of this industry, any sort of numbers that you can give us would be a nice addition.
Well, I mean, I think that you know, ODI Pharma is not just a medical cannabis company any longer. We had, as all companies in the pharmaceutical industries, we had some stresses in last year with getting new products to the market, and so things were a little bit slow. And we submitted in February of this year. And during that time, we were, you know, we've got a lot of ideas of future products that we're going to bring to the market. And so we're going to, you know, we had the idea originally as well for starting the cosmetics, and so we worked extremely hard to bring the product to fruition, and we launched live in 1st of October of this year, where our products are online on candle.net. And so I say, when you look at our company in general, on the medical side of the business, I mean, we could comfortably say that there's 1 to 2% of the population in average, which means over any given period of time that could benefit from medical cannabis. Which, you know, that would imply something on a conservative side. The Polish government has said that there's 300,000 patients that could require medical cannabis at any given moment, and that's our targets. We think it's going to be slow to get there, but we do think that that is a justifiable number of patients in the Polish market.
Yeah, and on the medical side, what kind of treatments can you use cannabis for?
Well, I mean, there's a huge array of product of illnesses that can benefit. And to date, I think that the cannabis industry is focused on helping with the symptoms of ailments. It's focusing on um, multiple sclerosis. There's pain management, which is a very, you know, it's a very, you know, there's chronic pain and there's acute pain, and there's different types of cannabis applications that are used for both. There's research being done into arthritic conditions. There's there's sleep disorders. There's it goes on and on. Basically, if you take the whole spectrum of medical illnesses, um, there's very few that aren't being researched right now.
Okay, and let's focus on your cosmetic line then, that was just recently launched. I will bring up some slides for you so you can just walk us through the range there of products.
Great. Okay. Well, we announced in our press release that we launched Candle. Candle came from a lot of research and study and understanding that cannabinoids have actually quite a valuable effect on the skin. And if you look into the EU COSING's database, the CBD is listed as an anti-seborrheic, an antioxidant, skin protection, and skin conditioner. I had to look up antiseborrheic the first time I saw it, but what that basically means is that we have cannabinoid receptors in the skin, and CBD helps to regulate the skin oils, which give a cleaner balance to the skin. And so then we took a very, very hard look and a lot of work to understand what do we want to accomplish if we're going to go into cosmetics with CBD, because we also believe that some of the other cannabinoids, CBDA and some of the terpenes, may and will be involved in cosmetics in the future. So we developed creams with partners and with our research, and we found creams where we tried to find the greatest magnitude of what the Coastings database approves of CBD. And we came up with, we tested for multiple products, serums on top of this, and there are things to come in the future, but the successes we had were in the face mask, face cream, and the body balm. And these are two products which I'm a little bit biased, but I think they turned out beautifully. And if you switch to the next slide, a little concept of how we did it. Our products are we focused on sparing no expense on packaging material. We sourced all of our packaging material from Europe. We didn't take the cheaper route. We also understood that the cosmetic industry, anything waste intensive, you need to focus on environmentally friendly. And so we switched from ceramic, potentially non-biodegradable products to a refill system, which we have here. Our body balm tubes are made from a sugarcane base. And so we've done everything we can to represent a green product on our cosmetics line. And if you switch to the next slide, please. I think that, you know, when we started our cosmetics product, we knew that, or we believed 100% with confidence from our research in Switzerland and from what we'd been reading online, that it's a valuable ingredient in the skincare. And so, as we mentioned, we created the products, and then before we launched the products, we wanted to run a test, and we ran a test with one of the prominent testing facility companies in the world, and we ran a 40-person test for 4 weeks. And what you have here is a summary of the results, and the first two, which are showing 100%, it's a combined sum total of 13 different categories, which we considered our primary categories for our product. And what this means is that 40 out of 40 said that our product was highly satisfactory or great in every single one of the categories where we tried to create the cream. But what we found was a little bit unexpected and very, very pleasant, was that if you look at the fourth one down, that 57% of people said that our cream was the best cream they've tried, and 40% said it was comparable to the best cream they tried, which basically gives us 97% that we're better than or comparable to the best creams that they've tried. And we just took that and said, wow, this is really something else. And it's been very helpful in our product launch. I'm done with the slides now. It's okay, you can take it off.
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful. You know, we have a very strategic process. We started the online store, candle.net, but that's not the framework of how we're going to start it. We have it live. It's ready to purchase. It is online. It's available. If you order it, the product will be at your doorstep in 2 to 3 business days, regardless of where you are in Europe. The main strategy we have is working together with with retail in store, working with the top online producer, selling portals, and the interest has been phenomenal. And we're also working together with pharmacy and wholesale, and so our strategic beginning of this has gone off really well. We're focusing our sales predominantly in Central Europe, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, Austria, and we've initiated sales in Scandinavia. We'll see when we show up for the first time in shelf. But we've received great feedback from our partners, and we're quite excited. So we'll see how people look at our business, and they'll see it in the bottom line in the next few quarters that come out.
Yeah, but what's the competition on this side? How many similar products are there out there?
Well, and the medical side, I mean, competition, obviously, we're working together with the largest partner in the world for production partner. We're working together with the number one wholesale distributor of our product for the medical business in Poland. But still, there's competition. But it's a very challenging market to enter. The regulatory process is very, very strict in the medical business. When you look at the cosmetic line, it's a completely different market. The entry and exit of competitors it's quite fast. But so far to date, we're not competing against the large companies. They're not in the space yet. A few of them, I'm sure they're looking at it, but we've looked through all of the products that are basically available, and our product line is unique. And we think that bringing it out now with the reception, with the test results, we have a really, really strong foothold to take a large market share, which is much more than we expected. It was initially, when we started, we thought that it was going to be just a secondary add-on to our revenue base, and now it's looking very good. But time will tell. We're obviously optimistic. We're thrilled with our results. We love the way the product turned out. But it is a competitive market. And the key to it is not to overspend on frivolous marketing, because everywhere you turn, people want you to spend money on marketing. And so we were very happy with our initial, our addition of Thomas Kramer working our sales approach, and it's a very bottom up, similar to our business line in the medical business. We are focused on costs, and revenue. We are looking for profitability, and we're going to grow from profits.
And how transparent will you be with sales numbers here going forward for the skin product line?
Well, I mean, obviously, when people look at our quarterly report, or not the first quarter is just an initial. We're starting the product. As mentioned, we're not going to the heavy online social media just in the initial phases. We're getting our foundation. We're building our blocks with our retail partners. But the sales, we have really, really good expectations of it. But I know more than when I was young. I would have said it's great, but now as a little bit more mature, I say it looks good. It's you have to be a little bit more responsible, because there's always unexpected events. But the sales look like they're we're already discussing in the inventory build, and the inventory is quite substantial. So the discussions about inventory build are not just we're optimistic. But it's developing, and we're hitting all different avenues, in store, major online retailers, and our own marketing as well. So it's a big market. There's a lot of potential customers.
Are there other potential extensions to what you do? I mean, could you bring out new products going forward?
Well, obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning, we started with the cannabis flower, as that was the most clear cut within the application processes in Poland, which has obviously turned out that we're very diligent. We're working hard. We've learned a lot from others. And we are also zeroing in very, very much on the medical secondary products, the derivative products, you would say, that come from extracted products out of the medical plant, because they have a different time frame effect on the body, so they help different illnesses. With the cosmetics, we have multiple products that are in sort of development mode. But really, what we would like to do is talk to the partners that we're working with, and not just that we push a product that may not be desired. We're looking for teamwork with the partners. We're going to be very selective with our partners and in our sales. We don't want to create the price competition where we sell to someone that immediately they, offer 20% off when the others aren't. So we have to be very selective in our business, and we also want to build it together with our partners. And we're going to give them opportunity. We have this cream, this eyeliner, that, this hair product, or whatever it may be. We want to work together with our partners.
And you mentioned
previously, sorry, there's one other angle to that. Sorry, but of course, when you go between medical and cosmetics, they're different regulatory bodies. In Sweden, they're both run under the Lake Metal bracket, but they're two different entities. But there is obviously in the future there's a middle ground as well, which those products don't come out quickly. That takes years and years of investment and research in order to get them approved. But yes, of course, that's where we see down the road.
And speaking about regulatory challenges, what's the status on that side? Looking at Europe as a whole, I mean, is it opening up, or what's the status?
It's opening. It's a little bit like the hare and the tortoise, right? There's yes, it's there, it's available, but the EU policy. I thought a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that the EU policy would be conformed in 2 to 3 years, 2 years, 5 years maximum. And I still think 5 years, so 2 to 3 years down the road, I think that things will be much more conformed. But the regulatory rights in the medical are very country specific. The requirements that we're facing in Poland are unique to Poland. The German requirements are unique to Germany. The Italian requirements, the Austrian, the Dutch, each one is still very different, and I think it'll remain different over time. When it comes to the cosmetics, I mean, we face issues too. That yes, we have an enormous market here in front of us. We have 740 million people in Europe that we can target. Fantastic. It's enough. It's a great place to start. But of course, we want to go all over the world. We're working with lawyers to see how do we accommodate our products being sold in the United States. Can it be done? How can it be done? What do we need to do? We know in China, which is 1.4 billion people, we'd love to sell the product. We're not going to be able to sell it in its current form. It's not possible. And those are regulatory hurdles in the cosmetics as well. But we're gonna achieve those hurdles, and very confident with our ability to do so, both in the medical and in the cosmetics.
And in terms of your financial goals, have you any set financial goals for the near term, or is it not communicated?
Set financial goals. I mean, the first part is the first step that we have now established a first revenue stream. We did the IPO based on trade finance for a coming product, which it's great. And we are, as we mentioned, in the late stages of our flower application in Poland. So the first step would be to establish the revenue stream. We have established targets. I mean, our company is, the upside potential is interesting for anyone investing in the company. We have financial targets that are achievable, and let's just get the permission to sell the product in Poland first for that target to be pronounced of what we think is sales. Cosmetics, we're in the first 2 weeks of the cosmetics being out. I mean, I think that the first 3 months for us, first week or two, is testing that. All right, we ordered the product online. Does it actually come? I've ordered 2 or 3 products myself just to make sure they come, and they did. They were perfect. Yeah. So there's growing pains. It's just not, you just don't jump into a pool of water and swim. We're really confident it's going to be a huge success, and but the financial targets, we will provide that in the coming quarters.
So if I ask you where ODI Pharma is in, say, 5 to 10 years, what's your answer to that?
That's a funny question. It reminds me of when I used to interview people. When I was working, I was sort of had a lot of responsibility for people at Nordea when I was there, and always the first question I asked was, "What are you going to do in 5 years?" And now, when I'm 52, I realize 5 years is a very long time. The answer that I would have to say, in 5 years, I believe that ODI is going to be able to say that we provided medicine that was needed to hundreds of thousands of patients that they're not getting currently today. It's going to be a consistent, high quality, cost-effective product. That's a goal of ODI 5 years from now. And 5 years after that, multiples. Cosmetics, my goal is that 5-10 years from now, people will look back and say, wow, ODI really was one of the key companies to bring cannabinoids into cosmetics. They're one of the first small companies to make that step and to do it in a unique niche, which showed the value of cannabinoids in creams. And I think those are two achievable goals. They're not unrealistic, and if they are achieved, then great for our investors. And so,
yeah. So in
but one
5
thing,
years, you're a highly profitable
5-10
company,
years.
I guess. Yeah.
The industry is going to change a lot in 5-10 years. There's going to be a lot of things that no one can expect as of today what's going to happen. But the way I see it heading is, I just got back from a trip from California, and things have been deregulated, and I hadn't been back really to California since 2016, 17, and the evolution of the industry is dramatic. It's really dramatic when things are no longer illegal. What's happened to the stigma and to other things.
And what's your feeling overall from the investor side? I mean, is interest there? Because I know that many went into the cannabis space quite early on and then got disappointed. What's your feeling there?
Well, I mean, the ones that went in early on are quite happy, I think. It's like if you bought Bitcoin back in 2003, I mean, you're happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got an industry worth, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And, when we started this industry, it was worth, a billion. And so, yeah, it's still it's a monumental increase, and every uptrade in every industry is going to have consolidations and corrections, right? The market is a balance, and finding highs, it gets overdone, people get excited, and then it finds lows where it gets too cheap. Eventually it finds the fair value. I still believe that the industry, is changing, is dynamic. It's I think it's still a very attractive industry, but I think that the European companies are very attractive.
That's good.
Yeah.
If we are to summarize here, then why do you think that ODI is a good investment at this point?
Well, ODI is in a position working with the largest producer of medical cannabis in the world, teamed up as the exclusive product line selling to the biggest wholesale distributor in Poland, representing a 31% market share. We are really, we've worked hard. We've gone through all the processes, and the potential, if we can unlock the opportunity in the near future here, it's fantastic. But also, we've done it in a conservative way where we haven't taken salaries from the company. Neither myself nor the co-founder have taken any salary from the company. Of course, we've made additional hires recently, but we've been 100% dedicated, and we are going to, we're dedicated going forward until the revenue stream justifies. We're keeping hard fast to the goal, not forever, but the cosmetic industry, it's an enormous opportunity as well. But you can just go run fast, but I think that we've proven our dedication and our conservative approach, looking for profits, growing responsibly. We're both professional investors that have analyzed thousands of companies and understand where people have gone wrong. We're not falling into those traps. We're committed to the goal, and there's there's so many different directions that we see that this company can grow. And if we just partake in a fraction of the two businesses that we have, the medical business in Poland and the cosmetic business, if it's a fraction of as great as I think it's going to be, I mean, it's a great investment. But I'm not here to tell anyone to buy our stock. I mean, what I would really like to do is I would like to tell everybody watching this today to go out and watch videos online about studies about cannabinoids from the Arthritis Foundation. What studies are going on, and how does cannabis help arthritis? Read about how cannabis is being studied and work with Parkinson's disease. Read how studies have been done with cannabis and MS. Read how studies have been done with cancer treatment and insomnia and nausea. And when you just read on the medical side and you really start to understand what we're trying to achieve, that this is not hokey pokey, this is a revolution, a move away from opioids, a move away from alternative medicines that have negative side effects to a less harmful natural medicine. And then when you then are done with your medical stuff, then go and read articles about what is happening with CBD and skincare. Why is it working? Why are we going this way? Why are we making this decision? What does it do for the skin? How does it work with the skin? And then you'll see why we've put in all the work, why we are where we are, and why that we think you should join up and get in early, because we see an interesting trip ahead.
Great. Thank you very much, Derek, for taking the time. I look forward to follow up on this conversation in, say, 6 months from now, or what have you.
Of course.
just to see how you develop. But
Yeah.
thanks very much for now, and good luck with your launch with the skincare and medical
It went
cannabis as well.
along. Great. Okay. Thank you so
very
much
much
for today. Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.